Hi everyone, welcome to Believers IAS Academy, Bengaluru. This is the daily news analysis session, and today we are going to discuss important articles from various newspapers and various websites which I have found very important. Okay, so that is today, that is date 18 November 2024. We are going to discuss some 8 to 9 topics or 8 to 9 articles which I found very important. So, first topic or first article that I am going to discuss is about Borderland Mahotsav. Okay, it is in news because recently Prime Minister Modi has inaugurated the first Bodoland Mahotsav in New Delhi. Okay, so what is Bodoland Mahotsav? It is a mega event on language, literature, and culture to sustain peace and build a vibrant Bodo society. Who are the Bodo society? Bodo society is a community belonging to northeastern states of India. So, theme for first year's Bodoland Mahotsav was peace and harmony for the prosperous Bharat. And the focus was on the rich culture, language, and education of the Bodo community as well as other communities from the Bodoland territorial region. Okay, Bodoland territorial region is a territorial region which is present in northeast of India, and there are many communities apart from Bodos who are living in prosperously and harmoniously in the nature along with the Bodos in Bodoland territorial region. And then aim of Bodoland Mahotsav is to capitalize on the richness of cultural and linguistic heritage, ecological biodiversity, as well as the tourist potential of Bodoland. So it is a holistic program which aims to improve the livelihoods of Bodoland community. Okay, next. It is also about celebrating the remarkable journey of recovery and resilience ever since the signing of Bodo Peace Accords in 2020. This is very important. What is Bodo Peace Accord? Bodo Peace Accord was signed between Government of India and Bodos. Okay, the Bodo community were demanding for a separate Bodo land from the for a long time, and in order to achieve that, they took up arms and started an insurgent movement which went for almost 20 to 30 years in northeastern region, resulting in death and destruction of many people, including Indian armed forces as well as Bodo communities. So, in order to overcome this, the government signed the Bodo Peace Accord, which provided certain autonomy to the Bodo community and certain form of self-governance to Bodo community, and this led to the Bodo Peace Accord. And after that, we will discuss about what is Bodo tribe. Okay, so the Bodos are these are the earliest known ethnic group to inhabit Assam, which was previously considered as Pragjotishpur or Kamrupa, with a distinctive culture and linguistic traits belonging to Mongoloid stock of Indo-Mongoloids or Indo-Tibetans. Okay, so it is said that they were the earliest known ethnic groups who inhabited Pragjotishpur or Kamrupa or present-day Assam, and they belong to the race of Mongoloid stock and the Indo-Mongoloid or Indo-Tibetans. So linguistically, Bodo include a large group of people speakers of Tibeto-Burman speeches of the northeast and north and east Bengal, Assam and Burma. Okay, so the language is Tibeto-Burmese. Okay, Tibeto-Burmese speeches, they are like, instead of speaking northeastern languages, they are prefer to speak in Tibeto-Burmese language, which is a language under okay, which is the language under Austroasiatic linguistic groupings. Okay, and they are the Bodos or Boros of Brahmaputra Valley. They are known as Meches or Meshes in Lower Assam, West Bengal and Nepal. In Assam, they are known as Bodos or Boros in Brahmaputra Valley, whereas in Assam, Lower Assam and West Bengal, in Nepal, they are known as Meshes or Meches. Okay, this is about first topic, very simple one, and it is more important from prelims perspective. And now we are moving into very important topic of Aligarh Muslim University judgment. Okay, last week there was a very important judgment by Supreme Court of India regarding the status of minority status of the Aligarh Muslim University. So there was an article in the Hindu of 16th November, which I was not able to do on that day because of some certain issues. So I decided to take up this topic because it is very important from UPSC perspective. So what we are going to see is what was the judgment and what is the outcome of it, what is the background to it, what is religious institution, etc., etc. So here the author who was the Faizan Mustafa, he talks about Supreme Court judgment. The news was the recent judgment by 7-judge bench of Supreme Court of the on AMU case redefined minority rights and laid down holistic tests to determine the minority character of an education institution. They laid down certain guidelines on how to consider an institution as a minority or not. Okay, so that is why it is very important. Before you go into the judgment, first understand what is minority institution in India. So minority institution, it is any institution which is established and administered for the educational development, religious or secular education of the community by the minorities. So it has to be established by the minorities. Who are minorities? In the Indian constitution, the term minority is mentioned, but it is not defined anywhere in India. So though minority is not defined in the constitution, it recognizes two kinds of minorities, that is religious and linguistic minorities. Okay, so the central government has notified 6 religious minorities. Those are Muslims, Christians, Sikh, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Sikh, Parsi, and Jain. Okay, these are the religious minorities in India. And there are two fundamental rights relating to minorities. One is Article 29, other one is Article 30. Article 29 says that any sect or any sections of the any sections or any group of a community having distinct language, culture, or script have the right to protect the same or preserve the same. So it only says that any community, they can be majority or minority, they have the right to protect their own script or culture if it is distinctive or if it is unique. But whereas in Article 30 it says that all minorities, whether based on religion or language, so they it mentions about minorities shall have the fundamental right under Article 30 clause 1 to establish and administer education institutions of their choice. Okay, so Article 29 says that any community or any sections of a community have the right to preserve their culture, script, and Article 30 explicitly says that all the minorities have, based on the religion or language, have the right to establish education institutions of their choice and administer it. So there is also National Commission for Minority Education Institutions, which grants minority status to education institutions. And then state governments also grant minority education status to institutions within the state. This was because of TMA Pai Foundation case. In TMA Pai Foundation case, Supreme Court held that minority status should be given based on the particular state. Okay, because a community or a religious or linguistic community can be a minority in one state and can be a majority in other state. Okay, for example, Hindus are the majority in the rest of the India, but they are in minority in Kashmir. Okay, Jammu and Kashmir, so they can get the minority status in Jammu and Kashmir region. Or Kannadigas. Okay, Kannadigas are majority in Karnataka, but they are minority in Kerala. That is why they are given minority linguistic community in Kerala, especially in Kasaragod regions. Okay, so what are the benefits of minority status? The benefits of minority status is that the greater control over the day-to-day administration, from the student admissions to the hiring of teaching and non-teaching staff. They enjoy more autonomy, and there will be less regulatory burden on these on these minority institutions by regulatory bodies. And student admission, a minority institution can admit non-minority students without losing its minority character. Okay, so Aligarh Muslim University, initially it was considered as a minority institution, even though it was a minority institution, it used to hire people from different communities also. And then there is no SC/ST reservation. This is very important. Okay, Article 15 of Indian Constitution talks about reservation to different communities in educational institutions. Okay, which both public and private institutions. Within that, there is a clause in Article 15 clause 5, where Article 15 clause 5 says that both in private and public institutions there shall be reservation for SC/ST communities, but this doesn't apply to minority communities. Have exempted minority education institutions from reserving seats to SCs and STs. Okay, so they enjoy autonomy there also. And minority reservation, the minority institutions can reserve up to 50% of the seats for minority students, providing flexibility while still prioritizing minority representation. Okay, And that is what in TMFI foundation, the Supreme Court clarified that minority to be determined by the state governments or state demography and not on the national population. So this is the background to minority status in India. Okay, this is what minority status concludes in India, or like what is meant by minority status in India and what are the cores of minority status. About like Aligarh Muslim University case. Okay, the background of Aligarh Muslim University. It was initially called as Muhammadian Anglo-Oriental College, and it was established by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, a great philanthropist, and he was a great social reformer of Muslim community, and he emphasized on Western education for Muslims. Okay, post 1857 revolt, Britishers were sidelining the Muslims, and Hindus and rest of the communities were getting educated through Western education, and they were moving towards, like, they were generating more awareness and they were getting more jobs. So seeing this plight of Muslims, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan took up social reforms where he promoted Western education to Muslims. So in a bid to generate or provide education, he established Muhammadian Anglo-Oriental College. Okay, Muhammadian Anglo-Oriental College, which was established in Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh. And the college was designed after a British education system with the goal of integrating Western science and literature with Islamic subjects. Okay, so university status. Initially, it was a college. By 1920, through an Indian Parliamentary Act, Aligarh Muslim University Act, Muhammadian Anglo-Oriental College was given the status of university, and it was called as Aligarh Muslim University. So from Muhammadian Anglo-Oriental College, it was converted into Aligarh Muslim University, from college to university through a Parliamentary Act. So post come the independence, in post independence 1951, there was an amendment to this act. The amendment said that it took away compulsory religious instruction for Muslim students at the AMU. Okay, they took away religious instruction to Muslim communities in the AMU. So against this amendment act, there was a case in Supreme Court, which was case Aziz Basa and Union of India case. The judgment said that it took away minority status of the Aligarh Muslim University in 1967, stating that AMU was neither established nor administered by the Muslim minority. Okay, because Muhammadian Anglo-Oriental College was established by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, but whereas Aligarh Muslim University was established through a Parliamentary Act, so it was not established by Muslim minorities. So that was the reason, or that was the argument given by Supreme Court in this case. And it came into existence through an act of central legislature and did not therefore qualify as a minority institution under the Article 30 of Constitution. Okay, what is the Article 30? Any, like, all the religious and linguistic minorities have the right to establish education institutions and administer of their choice. But here it has been established under the Parliamentary Act, so it doesn't account to minority status. That is what court held in this case. That is S. Aziz Basa and Union of India case. And after this one, there was the Aligarh Muslim University Amendment Act of 1981. It was again done by central government because of the change in the government. There was some, again, to gain the support of Muslims in the region, they brought an Amendment Act. Under this, it conferred complete minority character to the Aligarh Muslim University. Okay, and there was the provision for providing 50% reservation to Muslims, because since it is a Muslim university, since it is a minority institution, they can reserve 50% of state seats to Muslims only. But however, this minority status was removed by Allahabad High Court in 2006. It struck down both the 50% reservation to Muslims and also Aligarh Muslim University Amendment Act of 1981, meaning it lost the minority status and it also lost the 50% reservation to Muslims. However, there was an appeal from the government before the Supreme Court against 2006 verdict of Allahabad High Court. Okay, so government, again, election issues, and they wanted the support of Muslims in that case. They went to the Supreme Court again against Allahabad High Court Act. Okay, then there was following this, a Supreme Court constituted a 7-member bench to deal with the reference arising out of 2006 order passed by the Allahabad High Court. So now, what are the constitutional texts to be determined by, what are the constitutional tests to determine the minority status? So in the recent judgment, Supreme Court has laid down certain certain guidelines or certain tests to determine the minority status. It says that to determine the minority status, you should trace its genesis. Okay, in Aligarh Muslim University's case, though it became a university through Parliamentary Act, but it was not established by Parliament itself. It was initially established by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who was a Muslim, whose aim was to provide education to Muslim minorities. So you should trace the origin of the idea for the establishment of institution to determine the brain establishment. Okay, so under this, Aligarh Muslim University becomes a minority institution. For proof of this one, various sources could be considered. What are the source? Letters, correspondence with other community members or the government officials, etc., etc. And they had ample amount of these proofs compared to these proof from the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. And then the link must point towards one member of the minority or a group from the community. And said that the purpose, it must predominantly be for the benefit of minority community, even if it is not the sole purpose. Okay, these are the tests, okay, to determine the minority status of an institution. And finally, implementation, examining the source of funding, land donations and constructions of the infrastructure. This should also be coming from minority institutions, not from the government. Okay, if it is coming from the government, then there will be other provisions and other tests, and it will fail the test of minority status. Now moving on. So this is the Supreme Court judgment. What is the significance of this Supreme Court judgment? Obviously, it overturns Aziz Basha case judgment, because now the Supreme Court held that statutory recognition to a minority institution doesn't remove its minority status. Okay, and then purpose. While the purpose of the establishing minority institution should be conservation of language and culture, it need not only be the purpose. Okay, so even though Constitution says that it should be to promote or preserve the culture and language, but it need not be the only sole reason behind it. Admission. A minority institution will not lose its minority character by admitting students belonging to other non-minorities. Administration. The administration of minority education institution does not need to be handled by the minority community again. It can be handled by non-minority community also. The administration must reflect a commitment to protecting and promoting minority interests. And education. The education, secular education, can be imparted at a major minority education institutions without affecting its minority character. Okay, they can either impart religious instruction, or they can either impart secular education. Just because of the fact that a minority institution is providing secular institution, it doesn't lose the minority status. Then government aid. If a minority institution has received the aid from government, no student can be forced to participate in religious instruction. It comes under Article 28 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, under Indian Constitution, it divides education institutions through three types. One is minority institutions, which is constructed or funded completely by minorities. Another, there are two types. One is only receiving the aid from government, other is receiving the aid as well as administration by government, or complete government schools. In complete government schools or education institutions, religious instruction is not completely banned, it is not allowed. In education institutions, which is getting the education institution established by minority and it is getting the funding from government of India or the government, then it is up to the students or students' parents to decide whether they need or need not have the religious instruction. But whereas minority education institutions, which are completely run by themselves, they have the outright right to impart religious instructions. Okay, and then however, these institutions must still be considered minority institutions. Okay, if the institution is fully maintained out of state funds, it cannot provide religious instruction. But even though it is providing it is funded by state government, it should also be considered as a minority institutions. So present AMU status is AMU has been conferred back to minority status. That is the gist of the case. Okay, that is it. Now moving on to the third article or third news source. So there is an article all about MATES, a new scheme for young Indians to work in Australia. It was in Indian Express of yesterday's newspaper. Since yesterday was Sunday, I was not able to take a session, so I'm covering this one because it is very important. So what is mobility arrangement for talented early professional schemes? So Australia has recently come up with a new scheme that allows talented young people from India to work in the country for some time. So it is MATES gives Indian university graduates and early career professionals a chance to work in Australia for a minimum period of 2 years. Okay, the scheme will open for professionals from December this year. And what are the? It has been established under the Migration and Mobility Partnership Agreement between India and Australia, and then eligibility is open to Indian nationals who are age 30 or younger at the time of application. Okay, and they should not have participated in mates in the previously. If they have already participated in the mates and they have already acquired the job for 2 years, then they cannot take the benefit of the mates again. And then they should also have proficient English language skills. That is, they should have a score of 6, at least 6 in IELTS, International English Language Training System. Something is there. You have to pass that exam with a score of 6 or at least 5, and you should have graduated within 2 years from the eligible education institutions at the time of application. Okay, meaning you should have passed just 2 years before applying the application, and hold the qualification such as bachelor's or degree or higher in one of the following such following fields. What are the following fields? Renewable energy, mining, engineering, information communication technology, artificial intelligence, financial technology, and agriculture technology. In India, graduates from top 100 universities of India as per National Institutional Ranking Framework NIRF ranking 2024 will be eligible for this scheme. Okay, not all the people who studying in every college is eligible. Only the top 100 universities of India are eligible for this one. And there is no requirement of sponsorship from the Australian employer to avail this scheme. Previously, if anyone wants to go and study or go and not study, go and work in Australia, they needed the support of Australian employer. Okay, now it is not necessary. Visa holders can enter Australia for the first time within 12 months, and they must stay in the country for up to 24 months after that. Multiple entry into Australia are permitted within the visa. So the participant may extend the period of stay by applying to visa again. So it is like hassle-free visa process. So they will have more opportunity to work in Australia, which is beneficial for both India, like Indian aspirants as well as Australia. So this is about mates. And another is lesser mealworm larvae. There is an article in Down to Earth newspaper about plastic eating insect which was discovered in Kenya. The plastic eating insect is called as lesser mealworm larvae. Okay, so it was discovered in Kenya. These are the plastic eaters that are capable of consuming polystyrene. Okay, polystyrene. Scientific name of this worm is Alphitobius diapernis. It is also called as litter beetle. What is litter? Litter is nothing but dust or waste, and it is going to consume that litter or dust. That is, it is called as litter beetle. So what is polystyrene? It is commonly known as styrofoam also. It is a plastic material that is widely used in food, electronic and industrial packaging. So this lesser mealworm is able to consume or eat away polystyrene. Okay, so it is a small group of insects which is native to Africa and can also be found in many countries around the world. Though it is native to Africa, it is also present in many parts of the world. It is the first insect species capable of breaking polluting plastic down. The lesser mealworm is the larval form of Alphitobius darkling beetle, and the larval period lasts between 8 to 10 weeks. After it is larva, it comes out as a beetle and starts flying out. And it is mostly found in poultry rearing houses, which are warm and can offer constant food supply, ideal conditions for them to grow and produce. So, according to recent findings, insect could be eating the polystyrene because it is mostly made up of carbon and hydrogen, which may provide them energy sources. So, the microbes and enzymes produced by lesser mealworms can be used in factories, landfills, and cleanup site for waste management. So, this is very breakthrough discovery, and this can be very important in waste management. Okay, every year millions of tons of plastic waste is being dumped into oceans, being dumped into rivers, etc., etc. Now with the help of these larvae, we can culture these larvae, and we can culture these larvae to like eat away this plastic waste management. So it is a win-win situation for both humanity as well as these insects. Okay, and it is less cost consuming compared to other mechanisms such as oil zapper. Okay, oil zappers or some other thing as incineration, etc., etc. So it is cost friendly and it is environmental friendly also. So just remember the name of this larvae. Okay, UPSC has a tendency to pick these kind of questions directly out of newspaper articles. They may just ask, what is like consider the following statements about lesser mealworm larvae. It is capable of eating away plastic from the ocean or dust. It has been found to be existing in the like higher temperatures of lava, like lavas or volcanoes. It is found to be at the depths of caves or etc. It was also found to be discovered on Mars, etc., etc. So there will be some different options where you might find okay, all the options might be true, but only one will be true. So just remember, Alpheobetus, Alphitobius, Diaperinus, or lesser mealworm larvae. Okay, this lesser mealworm larvae turns into beetle. Okay, next another article is about Operation Sagar Manthan. So it was an article in Indian Express. It says that India launches Operation Sagar Manthan to target the Lord of Drugs Haji Salim. Sarena, this was launched by National Narcotics Control Bureau has initiated Operation Sagar Manthan to dismantle the extensive drug empire of Haji Salim, who is also known as Lord of the Drugs. Okay, Haji Salim is a person who is very famous for drug smuggling in India. So they are started the Narcotics Control Bureau to control him or curb him or to arrest him. So about Operation Sagar Manthan. Okay, this is an initiative by NCB, that is Narcotics Control Bureau. Aim is to dismantle the drug trafficking handle network held by Haji Salim. It was launched under the direction of Union Home Minister Amit Shah. It is aiming at comprehensive crackdown of Salim syndicate linked to narco-terrorism. Okay, narco-terrorism is they are smuggling the drugs from different countries to India, and it is resulting in deaths of many youths in India, especially in Punjab and Haryana regions. Okay, so it is a form of narco-terrorism, and the money rising out of this narco, it is being used to terror funding activities also. And then aims and objectives: break up supply lines, seize narcotics and arrest operatives, and then disrupt funding for cross-border terrorism. Okay, what are the funds they are getting out of this narco smuggling? That funding should be arrested. Strengthening the surveillance in remote coastal areas used by syndicates. So most of the times what happens is the terrorist organizations or cross-border criminals mostly like think of coastal areas for taking up their activities because of the because our Indian coastal area is around 7,500 kilometers. So it is very vast coastal line, which is very difficult to be managed or controlled by the coastal guards completely. So wherever the gaps are there, they prefer coastal areas for their smuggling and other activities. So counter aid from entities like Pakistan's ISI and disrupt with the figures like Dawood Ibrahim. Okay, he is also getting support from Pakistan's ISI. Pakistan is a deep state, meaning whatever be the government, but it is actually run by army and ISI. Okay, so ISI is their secret agency and army is their main powerhouse. Okay, they will be running the government. So they are one of their policy against India is bleed India through 1,000 cuts. Okay, bleed India through 1,000 cuts, and they are using this bleed India through 1,000 cuts in Jammu and Kashmir, and recently in Punjab and Khalistani supporters also, and they also use this during like Gujarat, other areas also. Okay, and this is one of other methods where they are supporting narcotics into India so that they can disrupt Indian economy and they can destroy Indian youth. So the goals of this mission, Operation Sagar Manthan, Operation Sagar Manthan goals is reduce cartel influence on the Indian Ocean region. What is cartel? Cartel is the groups or syndicates which are involved in drug smuggling. So mitigate narco terrorism to enhance regional security, improve maritime security to prevent future attacks. So why is government so adamant on cracking down this drug trafficking? Because public health protection. Drug trafficking fuels addiction and it will result in mental health issues and diseases, training healthcare systems and undermining the societal well-being. So there is a vicious cycle. Okay, vicious cycle. Youth are getting addicted. Once they get addicted, they become depressed. When they get depressed, their health and activity levels decrease and their contribution to the economy also decreases, and now the recovery period and recovery spending on these people also increases. So there is a negative impact on country's economy as well as country's youth. And then national security and social stability. Okay, as I said, narco-terrorism, the money coming out of drug smuggling is being used in funding the terror activities in Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. So if we are curbing the drug trafficking, we are curbing the money terror funding, money that is going to terrorist activities. So this is about Sagar Manthan. Okay, what is Sagar Manthan? Don't get confused. Sagar Manthan is about narco-terrorism. It is not about Indian Ocean or like Arabian Sea, or it is not about Bay of Bengal or anything. Next, India, Middle East, Europe corridor. Okay, there is an article in PIB, Press Information Bureau. The context was that an Indian delegation recently visited UAE, United Arab Emirates, to discuss the progress of India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. Okay, so what is IMEC? Is India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. It is a transcontinental project that aims to promote economic development by increasing connectivity, integration between Asia, Persian Gulf, and Europe. Okay, it is a transcontinental. Transcontinental means the sense Asia as well as Europe. They are both connecting through like Southern Asia, Persian Gulf, and Europe. It was announced in 2023 at the G20 summit in New Delhi. Okay, it was one of the major improvements or developments in 2023 G20 summit. So initially the members who signed to the IMEC were India, United States, UAE, Saudi Arabia, France, Germany, Italy, and European Union all signed the memorandum of understanding of IMEC. You can just imagine the significance of this IMEC because of the members involved in this one. So it is expected to cut the transit time by 40% and cost by 30% compared to Suez Canal. Okay, normally the goods from India or Asia goes through Suez Canal to Europe. So now if you develop this like IMEC, we are able to cut the transit time by 40% and cost by 30%, which is very economical for all the countries involved. And then it also includes establishing undersea data cables and long distance hydrogen pipelines to achieve climate and decarbonization goals. Okay, so main aim is economical, but it is also focusing on climate change activities also. Okay, climate action plans also. And then what is the proposed IMEC route is aims to improve transnational, okay, from between Europe and Asia via rail and shipping networks, providing alternative trade route to Suez Canal and a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative. Okay, aim is to avoid Suez Canal and also have a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative, so that China doesn't run away with all the glory for itself. It consists of two separate corridors: East corridor in the sense India to Gulf, okay, and Northern corridor which connects Gulf to Europe. So this is East corridor, that is from India to East or Gulf, West, Middle East, and from Gulf to Europe. This is the Western corridor, Northern corridor. So it has two routes. One is shipping route, another one is rail route. Shipping route connects Mumbai to Arabian countries. So that is Mumbai and Mundra and Gujarat to European Union, UAE, and there is a rail network connecting Middle Eastern countries. Okay, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan to the Israeli port of Haifa, allowing access to Mediterranean Sea. And from there, Haifa, which is a port city of Israel, will be connected by the sea to Greece by a port, which will serve as a link to Europe. From there, Europe to other rest of the European countries will be connected through existing rail or road links. Okay, so from Mumbai or from Gujarat Mundra to Dubai or Jebel Ali, and from there to Al Ghawafat and there to Harda in Saudi Arabia, and then Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and then Al Haditha and Haifa in Israel, and then Payas in Greece, and from there Europe. Okay, so it is a very ambitious project, and it will be one of the great projects in the world once it is completed. And right now, progress of IMEC is that eastern section that is connecting UAE and India is moving forward smoothly, and it is progressing faster because of the good relation between India and India and UAE, and strong ties and comprehensive economic partner agreement between these two countries. Whereas western part or northern part, it is on the slow turn because of the animosity between Israel and Palestine. Okay, because of the war going on between Israel and Palestine, it is slow. It is slowed down there, and Saudi Arabia and rest of the countries are in opposition to Israel, so they are in no mood to focus on the economic part term. They are focused on their own security now. So this is about IMEC. Now we'll try to look into another topic of growing epidemic. In today's the Hindu newspaper, there is an editorial focusing on growing epidemic. It is focusing about Lancet report on diabetes and what are the WHO targets for diabetics. So in the report, it says that global diabetics cases surged from 200 million in 1992 over 800 million in 2022. The adult prevalence doubling from 7% in 2022, 1992, 14% according to the Lancet report. Okay, so there is a increase of 600 million people from just 30 years, and almost 7% increase in young people in those time, the same time according to Lancet report. So for diabetes, WHO has recognized certain targets, has set up certain targets for the diagnosis, like diabetic diagnosis. So World Health Organization aims for 80% of people with diabetes to be diagnosed, and the target is for 80% of the diagnosed individuals to achieve good glycemic control, which is crucial for preventing complications associated with diabetes. Diabetes ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Sugar level ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, that is called as diabetic. Okay, that is called as diabetes, where the sugar level is high, insulin level is low, and glycemic level is also high. Okay, so what is the requirement here is reduce the sugar level, increase the insulin level, and also reduce the glycemic control. For that, first you should diagnose. Many people don't know they are diabetic. Okay, first is to diagnose the diabetics. So therefore target is diagnosing the 80% of individuals, and then they will be counseled through doctors and like other medicines. Okay, and then so current status of diabetic prevalence in India according to Lancet report is, as of 2022, India has the highest number of people with diabetes globally, with around 212 million people, significantly up from the around 200 million in 1990. Okay, the prevalence of diabetes among adults in India rose from 7% in 92 to 14% in 2022. India also leads in the number of untreated diabetes cases, with 133 million individuals over the age of 30 remaining undiagnosed, and compared to 78 million in China. Okay, so many of the people don't know they are diabetic. And then the increase in partly attributed to improved data collection methods, and that includes individuals with elevated fasting plasma glucose and glycated hemoglobin, capturing a broader population affected by diabetes. Okay, so now not only because people with the diabetes are increased, but also the techniques or the data collection methods have also improved in India. So that is why more people are able to, or like more people with the diabetes can be recognized now. So in order to achieve those targets, what are the strategies India can implement? First one is targeted screening and lifestyle interventions. India can adopt Finland's approach of identifying high-risk individuals through targeted screening and offering lifestyle interventions, including dietary changes and exercise, and preventing diabetes. Okay, you can easily see like recognize a person or a diabetic person based on their looks, in the sense their weight and etc. So and their food habits. Through that you can easily target those persons and screen them separately, and then provide counseling for them, so that they can be, their diabetic level can be reduced. And then enhance public awareness campaigns. So there is a need for community-based implementation and awareness programs. Aim is to align with SDG, that is Sustainable Development Goal 3, good health and well-being, by promoting healthy lifestyle, preventing diabetes, and ensuring equitable access to healthcare for all, especially vulnerable populations. Okay, aim is to generate awareness about diabetes and promote healthy lifestyle. So it is all in prevention. And then it should also aim towards improving the access to healthcare services, ensure that the diagnosis facilities for blood glucose testing are widely available and affordable, strengthen primary healthcare services to facilitate easier access to the diabetes care and management. Okay, so these are the steps needed, and what are the steps taken by government are: National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Diseases, and Stroke (NPC-DCS). It was launched to promote awareness, early diagnosis, and management of non-communicable diseases in India, including diabetes. This program aims to reduce the risk factor through lifestyle modifications and improve access to healthcare services. Whatever the suggestions have been given, that have already been taken to a level by India. And collaboration with the WHO and other organizations. India collaborates with WHO and other international bodies to align its diabetes management strategies with the global best practices and targets, including those set in 2030. And then, what is the way forward? There is a need for strengthening the preventive healthcare. The focus should be on early detection through widespread screening, robust public awareness campaigns, and targeted interventions for high risk groups, emphasizing the healthy lifestyle promotion and also enhancing the integrated care system. That is, they should scale up access to affordable diabetic care, strengthen the primary healthcare services, and integrate technology for monitoring and management to achieve WHO's glycemic control targets by 2030. So there should be a holistic approach to dealing with diabetes. Okay, diabetes is a lifestyle disease. Okay, this is not because of communicable disease or virus or etc. This is because of individual's lifestyle. Whenever you are eating unhealthy diet, whenever you are consuming more sugar or more carbohydrates etc., and whenever you are more involved in like what is it, smoking and alcohol etc., then there are more chances of getting diabetes. In the same article, there was a data saying that according to WHO report, there is a overwhelming evidence that cigarette smoking raises the risk of developing diabetes by 30 to 40% compared with those who do not smoke. Okay, nicotine is a anti-smoking like anti-smoking instrument something. Okay, they consume nicotine so that, or nicotine patches, they have a nicotine patch so that they do not smoke. But the like negative of nicotine is nicotine itself is an addictive substance. Okay, if you are following, like if you are consuming nicotine more and if you are using nicotine patch more, it is almost similar to smoking itself. The nicotine patches also help in developing diabetes. That is what recently WHO has recognized. So people with unhealthy food habits, people with unhealthy activities such as alcohol, smoking, etc., cigarettes, etc., they should take more care about themselves regarding the diabetes, and they should always check about the sugar levels. And next and last, I guess, last article is about, okay, so this was a article or news of Saturday. There was an article in The Hindu. It said there is no need for separate central law to tackle crimes against health workers, given by NTF report. Now, what is NTF? NTF is a National Task Force report. It filed it in Supreme Court in the suo motu case concerning the RG car rape case and murder case, has said that there is no need to enact a separate law to protect healthcare professional. Okay, everyone must be knowing about RG car incident. Okay, it was a hospital in Calcutta where there was a brutal rape and murder of a like in-house doctor took place. Okay, it shook the entire India and it shook the entire like healthcare communities. Okay, they started protesting, and one of their demand in protest was to create a central law. So central law promoting the healthcare workers, okay, healthcare professionals. So in order to evaluate this, like in order to evaluate these demands, Supreme Court, they did appoint a task force. Okay, that task force was National Task Force, which included medical professionals and others following the rape and murder of postgraduate doctor at the State and RGKR Medical Hospital. So, like it has been 2 months almost since the appointment of NTF by NTF, and the recommendations are: NTF has divided its recommendations into three categories, that is short term, medium term, and long term. It received suggestions from 53 associations and over 1,700 individuals, and its recommendations were, it suggested certain measures. Okay, these measures are very generalistic, but still, because it is a task force, you should know those. That is deployment of trained security personnel in hospitals, coordination with the local police, high walls, limited biometric access, night shift safety protocols, etc., etc. CCTVs, restrooms, toilets, internal complaints committee to act on sexual harassment complaints, around the clock presence of a senior doctor in emergency service area, etc., etc. Like these are the measures how to escape these heinous rape cases in hospitals. But on the demand of central law, it said that there is no need for a central law because there are already adequate laws. It said that states have had enough laws to keep the healthcare professionals safe. Besides, the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita could take care of heinous offences committed against the doctors and medical staff. Okay, there are already provisions, there are already sections in Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, and there are already laws taken by central state governments which deal with the healthcare professionals and medical officers. So there is no need of central government law. And it says that 24 states have already enacted laws to address violence against healthcare professionals, and wherein that they have already defined the terms healthcare profession as well as medical professionals, and two more states have already introduced bills in this regard. Most of the states laws cover minor offences and prescribe punishment for them, and the major offences and heinous commences can be dealt by BNS. So therefore a separate central law to deal with the offences against healthcare profession is therefore not required. And as soon as the report came out, the doctors were protesting against the RGK rape case, and they started protesting even more. Okay, what is the use of task force if they are not able to meet our demands? Okay, so that was the controversy. And then final one is about Delhi's air quality index. It turns severe plus. Graded response action stage 4 has been ruled in. Okay, so there was an article in the Hindu. It talked about graded response action plan 4 restrictions and have been imposed in Delhi. We'll understand what is graded response action plan. Before that, we'll understand what is air quality index. Okay, so the news is Commission for Air Quality Management, that is CAQM, has enforced stage 4 of the graded response action plan in Delhi NCR. This measure follows region's air quality index crossing into severe plus category, signaling a critical air pollution emergency. So first, what is air quality index? Air quality index was initially launched by Government of India in October 2014, and it is done by Central Pollution Control Board. Aim is to disseminate information about air quality in easily understandable form for the general public. Okay, normally what happens is air quality will be given in a certain number. That number is very difficult for individuals to understand. So it gave a color coded index for the measurement of 8 pollutants. They are PM10, that is particulate matter 10, particulate matter 2.5, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, ozone, ammonia, and lead. These are the 8 pollutants which are measured under air quality index. AQI transforms complex air quality data of various pollutants into a single number for ease of understanding. So this is how air quality index looks like. So aim reflects in one color, one code. So if it is green color, then the air quality index is good. It is between 0 to 50. There is no impact of pollution. 50 to 100 satisfactory. There will be minor breathing discomfort. 100 to 200 moderate breathing discomfort for people with asthma and weak lungs, etc. 200 to 300 very poor breathing discomfort to the most of the people and a prolonged exposure. 300 to 400 very poor respiratory illness on the prolonged exposure, and greater than 400 it is very severe, affects healthy people and seriously impact those with the existing disease. Okay, recently from 2-3 years Delhi has always been in this category. Okay, Delhi has been in most severe category. Okay, even crossed 600 air quality index sometimes. Okay, so air quality index, if you want to understand air quality index, first we should know about NAMP, that is National Air Quality Management Program. It was conducted by CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. Under this, initially they used to measure, or they used to regulate the quality of 4 pollutants, that is PM10, PM 2.5, sulfur dioxide, and NO2, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur oxide, S2 sulfur oxide, and nitrogen dioxide. These were the four pollutants which were initially regulated, which were measured by National Air Quality Management Program, and later it was converted into these 8 pollutants so that pollution quality can be more comprehensively measured. And apart from this, there is one more measurement called as National Ambient Air Quality Standards. Here, apart from these 8 pollutants, there are 4 more pollutants added. These are benzene, benzopyrene, arsenic, and nickel. Okay, so this is more comprehensive than these two. So these are 3 different type of air quality measurements in India. Now moving on to the graded response action plan. What is graded response action plan? So before that, we will understand Commission for Air Quality Management. It was a statutory body formed under the Commission for Air Quality Management in India, in National Capital Region and adjoining areas in Act 2021. Okay, it was a statutory body under the Act of Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region or NCR region and adjoining areas Act of 2021. The Commission aims at better coordination, research, identification, and resolution problems related to air quality in NCR and adjoining areas. So, what is graded response action plan? Graded response action plan is a set of emergency measures that kick in to prevent further deterioration of air quality once it reaches a certain threshold in the Delhi NCR region. Okay, whenever the air quality index goes beyond certain limit, then these response plans will be taken into consideration. There are 4 stages. It was approved by Supreme Court in 2016 and it was notified in 2017. And the plan was formulated after several meetings between Environment Pollution Prevention and Control Authority, that is EPCA, state government and other experts. It works on the emergency measure. Plan does not include action by various state governments to be taken throughout the year to tackle industrial, vehicular combustion emissions. It is only related to NCR region. Okay, this graded response action plan is related to NCR region only. So the nature is, it is an incremental in nature, meaning it goes on increasing. Graded response action plan 1, 2, 3, 4. It depends on the air quality. GRAP 1, if the air quality index is between 200 to 300, then GRAP will be taken out. Under GRAP, the measures are, first they will be releasing advisories and they will have some like mechanism for dust control, and it also bans on open burning. And second one, GRAP 2, air quality index is 301 to 400, and there will be restrictions on diesel generator restrictions, enhanced cleaning and road sprinkling. And there is the graded response action plan 3, that is air quality index between 401 to 450. Non-essential construction activities will be banned, vehicle entry with restrictions will be there, and there will be curbs and industrial activities. And then GRAP 4, if the air quality index is beyond 450, okay, when it is very intolerable, then it will be included, and there will be complete ban on construction activities, and the schools will be closed, and stringent vehicle limitations will be brought on. Okay, just imagine. So the recent air quality index produced show that most of the southern cities such as Bengaluru and Chennai were in the region of good only. Okay, by like Bengaluru has the air quality index of 48, Chennai had air quality index of 52 or something, and Kerala, other like cities were having the similar thing. But most of the northern cities were having the like in the range between very poor to severe. Okay, this is majorly because of pollution, and there are also certain geographical conditions which are favoring the southern states. Okay, because of coastal regions, because of the maritime effect, most of the pollutants or anything that is released will be spread away by the like ocean currents. So not the ocean currents, spread away by the offshore winds. But whereas in like northern India, it is enclosed centers. Okay, enclosed centers. So there is no offshore winds, there is no like onshore winds. Okay, so the pollutants stay there only because of severe winter. Because of severe winter, the like, dust settles there only, so it becomes more polluted there. Whereas in southern states, it is more humid in nature and like more temperate in nature or tropical in nature. Therefore, the dust doesn't settle; it gets spread away by the or taken away by the winds. And then, so and what band and GRAP 4 it is not necessary. Okay, so this is about news article of 18th November 2024. I know it is exhausting. It is exhausting even for me. So like it will be easy for you. What you need to do is just listen to the class. If you find any points important, just make a note of it in your notes, somewhere on your notes, so that you can use those data, you can use those examples, you can use those judgments in your mains answer or your prelims. Okay, if you find this session or if you find this classes useful, please do like, comment and subscribe to the channel, as well as share the video with your friends, so that other people can also avail the sessions. Okay, if you have any suggestions, please do write in the comment box and I will be improving upon it. With this I will end the session. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.